YouTubers, Fortune Cookie 45 LC coming to you from the hot lead zone. And the reason why we're doing this video is because GunFun ZS and PinkOld responded to the video on the 4.54 Casull being better used for hot 45 Colt loadings than the 45 Colt because of the extra safety margin with the 4.54 Casull brass and guns. Makes it much more practical to shoot hot loaded 45 Colt type ammo in the 4.54 Casull, so no more need to load the 45 Colt hot. Simply go with the 4.54 Casull. Well, GunFun ZS and PinkOld suggested that we need to not ignore the 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum, because that round is like a 4.54 Casull on super steroids. So YouTubers, as you know, the performance of a cartridge is dependent upon the case capacity, which results in having adequate powder to be able to burn and drive bullets at the velocities we want, versus the pressures generated, so that within safe levels, more pressure will give you more performance. The 45 Colt loaded hot can drive 300 grain bullets at 1200 feet per second safely in Thompson Center contenders and 45 Black Hawk Rugers. Now the 4.54 Casull will beat that because it can drive 300 grain bullets at 1700 feet per second because it has higher case capacity and higher pressure. The pressure of the 4.54 Casull is upwards to 64,000 psi versus the Long Colt's 30,000 psi. So double the pressure with more powder gives you 1700 feet per second versus 1200 feet per second with 300 grain bullets. The 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum, which is actually a 45 caliber, operates at 61,000 psi, which is less than the 4.54 Casull, but the case capacity is so much greater, so much more powder can be burned, that the performance of this round is 300 grain bullets driven at 2060 feet per second at the 61,000 psi. Now it just so happens that all of the 460 Smith & Wessons will chamber the 4.54 Casull and also chamber the 45 Colt. The 45 caliber, the 4.54 Casull, will chamber all 45 Colts but not the 460. Now, while we're talking about powder charges, the biggest powder charges are in the military. Give you an example. This is a 20mm cannon casing. And what Bruce Hodgson did back in the 1950s is he bought up all the surplus 20mm cannon shells, took the bullet off, and then the powder inside he sold as 4831 to reloaders, and that kicked off the reloading industry back in the 1950s. Well, turns out that this 20mm cannon shell requires 615 grains of powder. So you can see it in there. Right to the bottom of the neck, 615 grains of 4831 powder. So, what do you think? Use a dipper like this? No? Use a dipper like this to fill this. 615 grains. But that pales in comparison to the big battleship, the USS New Jersey, the Missouri, the Iowa, the Wisconsin. These were our biggest battleships, had the 16-inch guns, and those guns fired a powder charge that was 660 pounds. Not 615 grains, but 660 pounds of powder, which equals 4,620,000 grains in that powder charge. Lots of powder. So thanks to GunFun ZS and PinkOld for spurring this video. And also a little plug for the USS Wisconsin, G-Man 77 gas. Appreciate all of you viewers out there. And didn't get a chance to mention all of you. There's so many of you. Everyone have a very nice 4th of July. So, YouTubers, we'll just pour that powder back in the can. See you on the next video. Bye for now.